Tomorrow will be a new day, they said. It will get better, they said. Today is not the day. So it's like 8:30 in the morning. I'm at maybe my second location, but I'm about to get screened for this virus for the third time. Okay, I go on to the floor, I go, get asked the usual questions, and I was like, oh, give me my green band, wristband. He's like, oh, well, since you're in and out, we're only giving it to people that are here all day. And I'm like, fine, cool. He's like, yeah, you're totally cool. Go upstairs. As soon as I get off the elevator, there's people there, but there's no signs or anything. They just have a stand, and I'm just like, okay, don't think about it, walk past them, go, where I'm supposed to go. And they're like, hey, excuse me, could we screen you? And I was like, all right, fine. So I was like, ask the usual questions, and then they asked to take my temperature. And I was like, I let them do it, but I'm like, tomorrow I'm gonna put up a fight, because I felt violated. I felt very violated, and I don't think they're allowed to do that. I didn't have a cough. They didn't fill my head. I don't think they're allowed to do that. So I'm gonna question that tomorrow. So I'm like, I'm not gonna go to work and have my temperature taken 3 times a day every day. Okay, this is getting flipping ridiculous. So leave that one, go to another stop, go in, and there's somebody, asking questions, and I'm just like, ask the questions, and I get my band, and she's like, you're just contributing to the safety of you're contributing to the safety of humanity. I was like, no, I'm not. What, for a virus they don't even have a definitive test for, And it was funny because she was facing me, and there were 3 people behind her facing me, and they were all nodding their head like, yeah, we know this is bullshit. I've talked to many people in the hospital industry that knows that this is BS, okay? That they don't understand, right? I go to hospitals every day, so why don't I see the ER is flooded with dying people? It's just, it's beyond, it's incomprehensible how overblown this is. So then, I was like, why, I'm like, something else is going on here. Why are people flipping out and overblowing this thing over even a virus that they don't even have a definitive test for? This is according to the CDC. I put this in the links that they can have false positives and false negatives. So that means that you can get the test and you can test positive for it and not have it, or you can test negative for it and have it according to their test, okay, and still have it. So that means there's no definitive test, because as I've said, I don't know if I said this, I put links below, but basically you can't get a blood test that sees the virus swimming around like a microscope. I think most people think that, just like you can do for bacteria or parasites. I'm not saying you can't do that with other microbes, but for this viral test, they use certain proteins, right? Or reverse transcriptase, if it's a PCR test or some other that they test to see if they find traces of that, then they're like, oh, the virus left that behind, then that must mean you have the virus. But it could, other things that you have, like the flu, or being pregnant, or being around animals, there are other different things that can give you a false positive. So that's why they have a false positive. They can't see the virus. They're not looking at a virus. Secondly, it has to be purified and isolated. There's a thing called Koch's postulates, that this is science is a methodology, but for some reason, because people don't know this, it's become a religion. So people just magically think, because they say that they have confirmed cases, that they're actually confirming the cases, and they're not. So this is, I know this, when you know something, it's driving me crazy. I know I say some stuff, and there are military people that watch this video, and they're like, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. I probably don't, because I'm not in the military, okay? But I at least know that, and the CDC confirms it. And then a study that they did on the testing was published, and I sent it to my friend, and they're taking it down. So as I'm leaving, I'm walking away, and she was like, conspiracy theories. I fucking lost my shit. I was like, if this was like, we were in the ghetto, it would have been fucking on. If I was a black girl that was just like crazy angry, like it would have been on. I walked back, I was like, what did you say? And she was like, I was like, look, it's not my fault that they didn't teach you this in nursing school, because that really sucks for you. You should know this, okay? Because if you did, you wouldn't be so easily manipulated by the media. And she was like, oh. I was like, yeah, it's called science. Science, not conspiracy theories, science. And it's bad science. It's bad science that's being done. That's why we're in a lot of the messes that we're in the first place. And, you know, this is public information, and I get smart-ass people that are like, well, when you get your biology degree, or like, you're not a doctor. I was talking to this guy, and I was quoting somebody that was a scientist, and he was like, well, have you worked with frogs or rats? I was like, no, dumbass. I'm quoting somebody that's worked with frogs and rats. Is that okay? I mean, I'm not allowed to quote people, but they think, you know, we're so brainwashed. We're so brainwashed with this appeal to authority that we are, you know, we don't even, you know, the self-esteem has been beat out of us. We don't have the confidence to go and actually research these things ourselves, which is public information. The only thing I can't do is practice medicine or practice psychology, and I wouldn't want to because I don't have the clinical training. I have enough sense to be like, I'm not a doctor. I can't practice on you. But you can have like, you know, you can read medical journals, you can read stuff, you can have your friends that maybe are in science or scientists or doctors to explain it to you if you don't understand. You can get a medical dictionary and figure this stuff out yourself. It's not, it's work. It is a lot of work, and a lot of people frankly are lazy and they don't want to do it. But I'm not like a special person because I know this stuff, and because I'm not a doctor, I'm allowed to know this stuff. I don't see why it's such a secret to understand what's going on in your body. It really shouldn't. You should know how your body works. You should know how the tests that they give you work. Do you guys know that a few years ago there was a guy that went to jail for 45 years who was an oncologist who was misdiagnosing people with cancer? Okay, and thank God he had colleagues that found out what he was doing and reported him. How many people did he kill or ruin their immune system by putting them on those dangerous chemotherapy and radiation drugs? But for people, if you know a lot of the stuff going in, you have a sickness and stuff, you should always weigh the pros and the cons, the benefit to risk ratio, understand the testing that's done on you. You should know this, okay? Because people will take advantage of that. And I'm not saying that. I think most people won't. Like I said, I think most of the doctors and nurses that I work with or run into, they're super sweet, nice people that want to do good, okay? So I'm not, you know, saying like it's, you know, they're like in on it, but they don't really know. And a lot of, you know, and because, you know, a lot of people look up to people in you know, with with letters behind their name, and not only as people that maybe know more than them, but that they're better human beings. And this shit has to stop. You know, we're both men. I give the same respect to a garbage man or a plumber as I would a doctor. And you know what? The irony is a garbage men and plumbers have actually done more to help diseases than doctors have, okay? So why don't you take that for a loop, y'all? All right, so in addition to that, I'm going to like, I get done early. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to this place. I'm gonna get a gluten-free pizza. And I walk in and I'm like, oh, nobody's here. And like somebody comes rushing out. Oh, you're gonna have to order online. I'm like, oh. And then I look and I see all the like COVID-19. So I was like, this is some bullshit. I was like, fuck this pizza place. I don't want to order. I went to In-N-Out. In-N-Out was still open. In-N-Out ain't afraid of the COVID-19. Go to In-N-Out. It's not this pussy ass pizza place. So I was like, fuck that pizza place. And it was the way they did it too. They were so like, kind of just like, oh, get out. Oh no. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm leaving and I'm never coming back. How about that? So then I get home and I get an email saying that the gyms are closing. And I was like, I can't go to the gym? I can't go to the gym. So then I hadn't put a video up in a few days, and when I don't do that, if I have time, I'll see if I can answer some of the questions in the comment section. Either I'll troll people back, or I'll answer people that have questions for me and give them information and stuff like that. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? But I did it. And I was like, this person let me like this long ass soliloquy talking about how I was totally irresponsible. My God, you're so irresponsible for your views. You're telling people that the masks don't work and that like we shouldn't take this seriously because it's serious. Oh my God. And I'm just like, I read one. And then the second one, I was like, I should have read this comment, but I didn't because it's gonna take time away from me making videos about how bullshit this virus really is. So bye. I didn't even have time. I didn't have time. But I responded and they were like, well, first of all, I want to say that, you know, I hate the mainstream lying liberal media and big pharma. I'm like, okay, then why are you believing their lies, right? Why are you getting mad at me for stating facts that are easily verifiable, that I always put in the links what I talk about? But, you know, you just want to like get pissed because I'm not buying into the fear porn like you are. And I heard something very profound the other day, you know, talking about how your attention is very expensive. And whatever you put your attention on, you're easily manipulated by. And I can say, you know, myself, I'm going to do a few videos and I know I need to take a break because maybe I'm not getting feared, but maybe I'm letting stupid people get to me way too much. But at the same time, when I've been going around and posing these questions, I always get people that are laughing at me. They're saying, yeah, I feel the same way. And I think it's very important when you can, you know, don't get too ghetto, but when you can and other people around and they hear you, like they need to know that they're not alone. And they need to know that, you know, they're not the only one that thinks this way. Because I think that's also part of the psyop, that people do know that something is wrong. There are people that can do math. There are people that can, you know, look at the figures. There are people that understand that more people die in a shorter period of time than anything else. Like I even told that nurse, like, you know, medical errors are the third leading cause of death. So I might as well just take my chances with the coronavirus. You know, I might as well, fridge kids, patient zero. Then, you know, people get sick. A lot of people go to the hospital and they die from something that they got in the hospital. So, I mean, that's more deaths than coronavirus. So for real, I'm like, so then I get home, I'm looking at this my friend sends me this article. I'm like, what is this called? It's called article. Corona Truthers Prey on the Anxiety of the Moment. I was like, so it's an article talking about how, you know, the truthers and the conspiracy theorists are preying on the fears of people. No, it's not. It's the media, right? And I read another article the other day and they were saying that like, they were like, oh, it was like myths about the coronavirus. And one of them was like, no, silly, you can't get coronavirus from a bat. I'm like, the media put that out. What are you talking about? Like the media started that shit. So they start the rumors and they promote the fear and then they gaslight you. They gaslight you and make you think you're crazy when you question their crazy reasoning, right? And then you have all these celebrities that are coming out with the coronavirus. But how come the people, so like there's like Tom Cruise is in Australia and Justin Trudeau's in, you know, Canada. And, you know, so there are people around them that didn't get it, but they managed to get it. And they look really healthy. Like they're sending their pictures out. They're like, oh guys, we have the coronavirus. Like, you know, and they look really healthy in their pictures. And the people that they're interviewing on, you know, that are in quarantine because they supposedly have it, they look healthy. And I don't really know anybody that knows anybody that has the coronavirus, you know, and we don't have a definitive test for it. So they can literally just count flu cases as coronavirus cases because it's all hearsay, right? And somebody was like, you shouldn't do that. I just did and I'll do it again, okay? So you don't know either. You're just going by what the lying media says, that you said that you hate anyway because they lie, but you're going to believe them. Okay. So, you know, let's see. Coronavirus truthers prey on the anxiety of the moment. Yeah. So they're basically talking about, they only pull out the conspiracy theories that sound like a movie, right? Like Contagion. They're like, oh, they're saying that it's a bioweapon made in a lab. Well, yeah, I mean, I personally don't believe that. I think it was something else, but that's fine if people want to believe that, right? It's not like that there aren't labs that specialize in making bioweapons. So I don't really see what's crazy about that because we already know that the government agencies that do that and from other countries that do that, okay? But I personally don't believe it's that. But you know, they're not talking about the people talking about 5G, right? They're not talking about the tests that can't, you know, definitively confirm if somebody has the test or not. They're not talking about how we're talking about all the cases that are recovering. You know, they're not talking about vitamin C and how that's helping people recover from whatever they have, you know. They're not, you know, they're not talking about, we're not saying that people aren't sick. We just don't know for what from, and there could be many variables, but they're not talking about that. In fact, they're suppressing information. They're suppressing people that are talking about that. They're suppressing people that are talking about 5G. You know, there was a really great lecture, and the good old fact checkers, like they do, talking about 5G, and this guy has, you know, research and stuff to back it up. Good old Facebook fact checkers, because they know what's what, right? They fact checked us and was like, we fact checked it, and we, you know, it's not even true. So listen to the fact checkers. We fact check stuff because we tell you how to think. So they fact checked it. So this is my advice to you: anything that's fact checked or has a Wikipedia link or CDC or WHO, I'm inclined to think that it's true. And they don't want the truth to get out, because why are they targeting certain videos or media or a post with people telling you what to think about it? What's wrong with thinking for yourself? Why can't people have different theories about this? Because the media has proven time and time again that they are pathological, manipulative, obsequious liars. Right? That appeal to whatever they're told to say, right? That big corporations fund these outlets. If you don't know that, and you still think that they have the people's interest in mind, and you're an adult and you still think this, I don't really know what I can do for you. I really don't. I'm gonna, you know, say my opinion for as long as I'm allowed to say it. And you know, but people need to hear other people. I know I'm so adamant about this. I get people write me from time to time that thank me, and I always like get teary-eyed, and you know, every once in a while they'll send me money. I don't make enough to make a living, but even the notes, I mean, it doesn't have to be money. I mean, I'll take money, but you know, I'm saying, but you know, I get, you know, I know that there are people in certain positions, they have kids and they have a career, they can't speak out. So I feel like I'm their voice as long as I can do it. You know, I don't have kids, I don't have a family. I would like to. It's not that I'm against that stuff. I just don't. My number is, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. But I just, you know, so as long as I can be a voice for those people, and, you know, I consider myself a researcher, I like to aggregate and collect information. You know, you can do that as a citizen. You are allowed to research and aggregate and collect and analyze information. That's another thing. If you know, I thought about getting a PhD, but I realized how corrupt the system was and intertwined with the pharmaceutical industry. So I realized that I would be in a lot of debt, like hundreds of $1,000s of debt if I did that. And I would be beholden to the pharmaceutical industry and the corporations. I couldn't be honest about my research. In fact, there's a guy named Jim Meehan, and he's a doctor, he's an MD, but he also worked for he was the editor of a medical journal. And now, I guess he quit, but now he's out and he's talking about how, you know, he was told what not to publish. So this is how this whole narrative also gets drummed into people's head, that there's a consensus on science, and there's not. There's scientists and doctors from all over the world that have differing opinions at different degrees and different studies. But what happens is they just have, you know, they're like hundreds of medical journals too, but those are controlled. So they're, you know, they're controlled from the top down. They get told what to publish and what not to publish. So it looks like people have the same opinion on certain things when it's not actually true. Yeah, all right, that's it. I felt great, you guys. I feel like I just took an emotional dump. It was awesome. It was awesome. This is why I do this, because I need to vent. And I know that you guys need to, at least if you can't vent, you need to listen to somebody to vent. And yeah, I really don't know, you know, what I really do for better. I don't think I curse as much today, but this is why, like, you know, I'm really like professional outside of the videos, and I don't curse. I want to sometimes, but I don't. Especially when I was teaching kids, I'm not gonna curse kids. I'm not gonna curse around my mom. I'm not gonna curse around my friends that don't like cursing. I'm gonna be respectful of people's space, but I feel like when I'm here, this is just my time. My time to say what I want, to get it off my chest, and not to be judged for it. And I know people are gonna judge me for it, of course, because I'm putting it out on social media, but I also have a chance to troll them back if they do. And that's kind of fun and cathartic too. All right, guys, I think that's it. I think I did my vent today. I think I'm happy with this video. This is one of the ones I seem like I'm happy with in a long time, because I feel like I got out everything I needed to say today. A lot of times I make videos and I'm like, oh, I forgot to say that, or oh, I forgot to say this. I think I got it all out today. All right, y'all, that's it. Thanks for watching. Peace, truth, and love. Bye-bye.